Today's guest is Neeraj Chawla. He's a former cricketer and currently coaches the Wellington U19s, Hutt Districts Premiers, and is also involved with the Hutt Hawkes club sort of set up, taking teams to India. So Neeraj, welcome. Great to have you with us today.
Oh, thank you, Taylor. Thanks for having me.
I'm keen to get your insights on a few things and learn a little bit more about you. And I know, I guess you've been a part of my cricket journey for probably close to a decade now, and kind of learnt a lot off you, and kind of been involved in a few different things. So I thought it'd be a great opportunity to sort of get some of that wisdom and share it with a few others. So I thought a good place to start would be, I guess, your a bit about your background and kind of sort of growing up and playing in India, and then sort of your journey to being here in New Zealand, and if you'd kind of speak to that for a little bit.
Yeah. Now, firstly, look, thanks for such kind words. To be honest, I mean, really appreciate what you just said. Absolutely loved working with you. Yeah, I remember those days when the CGP. Think back in 2012.
Yep, would have been about then. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
When you were
So
a little up and coming cricketer, have a lot of energy, wants to play a lot of cricket, and working with you those days was good fun. Was good fun. Yeah. Now look, it all started as everyone else is here is loving the game back home. Cricket was the only sport available, to be honest, to play. And Dad one day took me to a cricket academy back home in India. My uncle used to play cricket, and he was one person who I was looking up to when I was growing up. And he played a lot of first-class cricket back in India, and he was a very well-known cricketer. Made a really good name for himself in domestic cricket, and in Delhi as well itself, he was well known in the cricket circuit, and that was kind of a start where I used to go. I remember go and watch him play.
Did he play for Delhi?
Yeah, he did play for Delhi. Oh. He did play for Bengal in those days, first class cricket. And yeah, so used to go and watch him play with Dad. Dad used to take me and my younger brother in those local tournaments in Delhi. Used to go watch him, and just love grew from there about the sport. And then I was about 7 years of age or 8 years of age when I started to play cricket. But of course, playing cricket in India is very different to playing cricket in where I'm living right now as well. So, but it was good fun. It was just a start loving the sport. There was only sport available, and I don't know, am I good enough or not, and how far I will go in this game. I was just playing every day and turn up to trainings.
Working on that cover drive.
Working
one of the
on
best
those,
in the business.
I'm not sure one of the best in the business, but yeah, I love that shot for sure. I had few runs with that shot, but yeah, so I was just a start there, and then just end up playing every day. You know, in India, cricket is very different. You pretty much play every day of the week. There's no summer, winter. There's no, the only time we used to have a break from cricket is when it's pouring down with rain, and Delhi especially gets a lot of that rain in about a month and a half. That's the only time you have no cricket to play, but you still...
Is that the monsoon
season? Yeah. But summer, winter, there's no summer, winter when it comes to cricket. I remember playing a game of cricket in a 40-degree heat, and playing a game of cricket in -2 degree as well. So standing in slips with three layers in -2 with the baller bowling, and
that wasn't in Delhi, was it?
That was in Delhi.
Oh my goodness.
There would never cross mind about, oh, it's too cold, it's too hot. Yeah. It was just like part of life, and you just get up and then go and play. It doesn't matter how hot it is or how cold it is, because just the love for the game was too much. So so that's all. It's all started from just watching my uncle play, to be honest.
Nice. Yeah. And so in India, you played a little bit of first class cricket yourself?
Yes.
A little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I did reach that level of playing first class cricket.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so it started with the age group cricket to start playing all these under 16s and under 19s and pushed my case a little bit to make that first under 19 World Cup. It just missed by a whisker, and then played first class cricket and was only 19 when I made my debut. Finished my age group cricket and straight away into Delhi first class team. Played couple of games there for Delhi. Yeah, I remember my first game was when I scored a 64 in my debut game. I got out of a Yuvraj's bowling.
Oh, really? Yeah.
He got me out caught at extra cover.
Yeah.
Harbhajan was playing that game. Where Shwag was playing in my team at that time as well. So now I grew up actually, funny enough, with a lot of cricketers who have made a massive name for themselves and played a lot of cricket for India. I mean, whether it's your Shwags or Harbhajan or Yuvraj or Ashish Nehra or Akash Chopra, all these guys were the same age group, and then we all grew up playing either with each other in the same team or against each other, because in North India the structure was at that time is you have a Delhi team and then you play against the North teams first before you progress to the next level or play the other teams from other provinces, other regions. So I always used to play against Punjab, where Harbhajan and Yuvraj and all these guys were playing, because I was playing for Delhi and I had Shwag and Akash Chopra and Ashish Nehra and all these guys in my team as well at that time. So so there were good memories of those growing up to get to that level of first class cricket. So.
Bit of a personal interest question with Shwag. He was always one of my favourite players to watch. What do you think set him apart? Did he play the same way at that age as he did when he played for India?
Right, I can share a good memory of playing a game. I remember we were playing it was a 3-day game, and I was always an opener, so I opened the batting, and I was not out at about 65 till tea time. Right, not out 65. I've liked those sort of players who bat the whole day to score you 100. So I'm not out 65. He came in to bat at number 5, and an hour later he was 75 out, and I was 70 not out.
Yeah, I've been in that position a couple of times.
So I was just on the non-striker and watching him smashing this. And I'm talking about when you were like 17 or 18. 18, I think it was. And then smashing sixes here, smashing sixes there. And he never gave a second thought about. And I was watching him and I was like, mate, I'm here all day batting for about almost 4 hours. And you came in an hour. You scored more runs and you got out.
Yeah.
But that was
the way he played. Yeah.
That was the way he played. He always been like that.
Yeah.
I mean, when you get to the highest level and what he achieved is beyond everyone's imagination. Never thought that's gonna be the Shwag again. But he was always like that. He was a pretty chilled out guy anyway. So he had good memories with playing alongside him. He was my captain in my under 19 team. Newly made captain. I remember that as well. After the 2 games, he came in as a captain of the side. So played under him. Was a good guy. Wow. He's a good guy.
Yeah. And you spent a little bit of time playing in the UK as well, over in England.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I played a lot of club cricket in UK in the past. Yeah.
How did you find the UK compared to, I guess, like India and here? How did you find your experiences over there?
Very, very. I mean, India and UK, if you compare it, very different, right? Very different. I mean, it's like similar to here, weekend cricket, Saturday cricket, not training during the week. Everyone's busy doing their work and stuff, and they all get together on a Saturday and then play cricket, and then just get into the pub after that, and then get smashed, and go home and come on Sunday, half pissed, and then still playing another game of cricket. So that was. I'm
not sure that's the message we want to be putting out to the young fellas, but
I didn't know the culture, because I was when I went to UK, I was like, okay, I want to play cricket in a different environment. Yeah. That was the whole idea. I want to play cricket in different, watching on TV, all these test matches happening in UK and Lords and all these grounds. So it was just a play some cricket in a different environment, different conditions, and test ourselves. And that was the whole idea of went to UK to play some club cricket. And I never used to drink Those days I was 21, 22. Never had a drink. So I remember I actually had my first taste of a beer as well in the UK. For 3 years after I was going. So for 3 years I never had a drink. And so I remember I used to have this guy who was a massive truck driver. He was kind of a manager, he used to manage me. I was a good guy. And he used to sit next to me because there was a tradition in that club I was playing for. If you score 100, every player of your team have to buy you a pint. Yeah. And English pints are they're like big, right? They're not like... So, and I was not...
Yeah, you weren't drinking
I was not drinking.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So every time I scored 100, he used to sit next to me, right?
Yep.
And at that time, I started to have a little taste of beer. So he used to sit next to me, and there is a table in front of me, and about 10 pints, right? And I had one, and just about to finish my first one, and this guy was a big guy, he's a truck driver, right? And boom, and all 9 got smashed. And I still remember Morris, the guy, his name was, still good guy, good bugger. He was a good bugger, but it was like big. Those old big truck drivers, English guys. So that was just cricket happened in the UK. It was good fun.
Yeah.
Made a lot of friends, met a lot of people. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy because cricket, playing in India and growing up in India, and then you going to England, playing language and all that sort of stuff was different to adjust. But the accent was so strong as well.
Tell me about it.
A lot stronger.
Yeah.
A lot stronger than what it is.
Whereabouts were you in the UK?
I played in Leicester.
Oh, okay.
And I played in Birmingham.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was the area I was playing most of my cricket in Leicester and Birmingham.
Yeah. I remember when I had a season over there, I was up sort of the north, and I got a job working in a pub for it lasted 2 days. And there were the number of people I just couldn't understand what they were asking for, and I'm like, just let me get someone else. I think that it didn't quite work out. But
imagine what's gonna be like me if you struggle. Imagine going from India as a 21-year-old to England. Imagine what always. All your life you grew up in environment where English is your first language. In India, English is not our first language.
I
right?
could not imagine.
Imagine that. But that was good fun.
Yeah.
You had a lot of experiences as well. A lot of life-changing experiences as well.
Yeah. I think that's where those sort of, travelling and playing overseas, it's definitely...
It wasn't easy.
Yeah, a lot of the young guys, kind of once they get to a certain point, I'm definitely encouraging them to have a look at it. Yeah.
You have to do that.
So then, off the back of that, what sort of brought you to New Zealand?
Oh, jeez. Cricket has always been a life. Part of life anyway. Was always involved in cricket. I was working. I got a job. Funny enough, a government of India job working for Indian Railways. As you know.
Oh, yep.
As a 19-year-old, just because of my cricket, right? And that's another different story. We'll talk about that off camera sometime. Yeah. But now so cricket was always part of the life. Yeah. And then cricket is what got me here as well. Came here to play for North City. Yeah. But then again, that was never been a plan. I was never coming here. There was no plan of coming to New Zealand to come and play cricket. I was actually planning to go to UK again. I had a contract, everything signed up. Yeah. But my girlfriend, my wife now, those days we were dating, and then she was looking for studying abroad. She finished her postgraduate in Delhi, and she was looking options to go and study. Her dad wanted her to go and study abroad somewhere. So I was playing in UK, so her dad didn't want her to go to UK and stuff. So he said, "You won't study, and you will just gonna move around. You're gonna travel, and you're not gonna study." So his dad wanted her to go and study somewhere where actually she can focus on study. So she decided to come to New Zealand for studying. So she applied for Canterbury University, one in Auckland, and Victoria University in Wellington. And all three universities, she got a yes from, and she got an admission in all three universities as a overseas. The students comes here. Yeah. And the course she was looking to study had better, say, in Wellington. Yeah, so she was like, Wellington's course looked like a lot more useful than other two universities. So she decided to go and fill everything in for Wellington, and she got admitted to Wellington. So that's where it all actually started from New Zealand. So I said, oh, so what will I do? What I'm going to do then if you go away and you're going to study for 2 years? I said, okay, let me see what I can do. Then the Indian team turned. If you remember 2009, they were here they were playing cricket in New Zealand, and I have no connection with this country. Never, ever. I mean, too far away from India to start with, right? As you know, you've been to India a few times. So Gautam Gambhir is good friend. Played a lot of cricket together. So he scored 100 at the Basin, and he scored 100 at Napier. That's right. Right. He scored 200s, and they just came back from the tour, and I knew he's done really well. So I just had picked up the phone and I said, I mean, have you got any connections in New Zealand? You've just been there. You might know some people. He said, yeah, what do you want? I said, I'm looking for a club to go and play some club cricket in New Zealand if you know anyone. He said, whereabouts? If you want to go to Auckland, I can, no problem. I can get to your club and you can just say, you can connect with them and you can play some cricket in Auckland. I said, no, not in Auckland. I want to go to Wellington. He said, okay. And he was actually touring Bangladesh at that time. And he said, okay, give me a couple of days and I'll get back to you. Okay. I said, he's too busy. He won't even remember it. So 2 days later, I had a phone call from him. He said, here's this number. Give them a ring and talk to them and they will sort everything out for you in terms of contract and whatnot. And it happened to be a number, Monty Patel from Tulsi?
Yeah.
Tulsi,
possibly, yeah.
Indian, Indian food chain or restaurants.
Yeah.
So he was at that time sponsoring North City.
Yeah.
So he was a sponsor for North City at that time, 2010. And it happened to be he was the one who was looking after Indian team in terms of the hospitality side of things, all the food and catering and everything. So he was good mates with one of the Indian cricketer, which is Munaf Patel, and Gautam, and they were playing in the same team in Bangladesh. So Gautam gave me that number. So I rang Monty and tried to find out, and he said, "Yep, no problem. Okay, let me see." So he rang Rodney Moore, who was the chairman of North City. Then Rodney sent me an email, I remember, and then he rang me and he said, yeah, we want you to come and play for us. We have heard about you. We have seen you must have searched some online stuff and thing. He said, yeah, no problem. Okay, so Rodney, it's all started from this. Rodney sent me all the documents I needed to apply for my visa and everything. And so before my wife got her visa, I had my visa ready to come here. Yeah. And I said, okay, let's go and see what this country is all about. I didn't even know anyone in this country. She was coming to study, and I came for just 2 months to play cricket for North City. I remember I came in January and then finished in March. And I thought, if nothing works out, we can go back and I love this country. And then rest is history. I'm here ever 15 since. Years later. I'm still here.
Yeah.
So that's all started from.
Yeah. Just a little backtrack. Is it crazy to think that your mate Gautam's now coaching the Indian national side?
No, he's
I'd like just in terms of like if you think back, like in terms of from when you're youngsters.
Never
and stuff,
never thought of. Oh, coaching never crossed. Coaching, we were never thought of that. Yeah. One day he'll be coaching. Or I never thought I'm going to be coaching. To be honest, I'm not going to be. Never thought of those sort of things. We were just too busy playing cricket. Yeah. We were just too busy enjoying cricket. They were like, every day there's a game. You just go out, get up. The routine was get up in the morning. So of course schools were there as well. We used to go to school, but during school holidays, like 2 months in summer, in India, the school holidays. So routine was get up in the morning, have your breakfast, put your whites on, get out of the house, or grab your gear bag, get out of the house, play a game of cricket, and then come back. Try to have your dinner and stuff, and then start again, the same thing. I remember it's a funny story. I remember one day, I got up at like 7 in the morning, 8 o'clock, went for the game. I finished that day. It was like, must be 40 degrees. It was very hot, middle of summer. Finished that game at 4 o'clock. There was a night game happening, which I was supposed to play, and went there. 5 o'clock, the game started. That game finished around 11:30. Right, 12 o'clock, by the time I got home, had my dinner, had a shower, slept. Next day, got up 6 o'clock, went to the ground again at 8 o'clock, finished another game at 4 o'clock, then came back home after that as well. So that was just every day, like, kind of thing.
Wow. Lots of cricket.
Lots of cricket.
Yeah.
Well, there was no shortage of cricket, and there was no short of love for the game.
Yeah. No. So how did the transition from playing to coaching kind of happen?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting question. Yeah. Never thought of, as I said.
Yeah.
There was never part of a plan that I'm going to be coaching.
Yeah.
I was just love playing cricket. I wanted to play cricket.
Yeah.
And it just happened. And it only happened when I came here.
Yeah.
Right.
Because was it, I think, I can't remember the exact time that we first met. Well, I remember the time, but I can't remember the time of year it was. But I have a feeling it might have been after that 2 months you spent playing, that in the winter with that CGP group. I think we were doing a session, and I think you'd been chatting to my dad, who was kind of waiting on the outside, and we ended up having, I think you guys chatted for about an hour or something, and then kind of came and introduced me. But and then not long after that, I think you might have ended up doing a few sessions and that sort of thing. But was that because it was like 2012 or?
Yeah, around that time.
Yeah,
2011, around that time. It's funny how it all started. It just organically happened. I didn't even there was no plan.
Yeah.
So when season finished here, when I came, there was like March and season's been done. I was like, what to do? Yeah. Now. So what will I do now? I love this place and I wanted to stay here, but there was nothing to do because cricket at March finishes, and there's no one playing. There was no training happening. There was nothing happening. So Ashoka, you remember Ashoka, right? Yeah. So he advertised a coaching job for School of Cricket, right? And I said, okay, I'll still be involved in the game until the season start again. So let's just give this a go and see how it goes. And so I spoke to him, or not, I didn't speak to him, but Rodney spoke to him because he was looking for coaches at that time for his School of Cricketing. And I was available, so I went and I met him, and I said, if you need someone, I can do some coaching. I played cricket, but I've never coached in my life. I can just have my experiences of playing cricket. This is what cricket I've played. If you are looking for someone, I'm happy to come along and do some coaching. And it just started like that. But that was never a part of a plan or anything. I've never thought that coaching thing never crosses my mind, to be honest, until I came to Wellington with that School of Cricket thing. And that's when, of course, I met you. And then that year later, I think that was because I was 2011, first time when I met Ashoka. And then
must have been then. It's interesting though, because like coaching is quite a good fit for you, because obviously like your passion, you kind of see it comes across to the young kind of guys and girls you coach, and they're not just young, but the players you work with, and obviously you've got tremendous knowledge as well. So it's, even though it wasn't something you thought about, it does actually seem it's been quite a natural fit, I guess, from the outside looking in.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoy.
Yeah.
I really enjoy this now. Yeah. I mean, as I say, I don't know when that passion it became passion. I don't know. Yeah. As I said, it just grew organically. I never thought, and I don't know when it became a passion, to be honest. But I just loved doing what I was doing. Mm. I remember there was one session I did very early in 2011. I was working with one of the kids. I think he was part of a CGP or something. Yeah. And his dad sent an email back to Ashoka around the feedback.
Yep.
And I think, like, oh shit. That the email I read, it was full of like what I've done well and it's so good. I was like, shit.
Yeah.
I've just shared some of my knowledge, playing knowledge, to that kid.
Yeah.
And I never had that sort of a feedback in my life
Yeah.
before around.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. I was never expecting that sort of a thing.
It makes it all worth it, eh?
Makes it all worth it.
Yeah.
But that sort of a feedback when I get, I was like, okay, I can actually
You could see actually doing this.
See how it goes, and I started doing that. And when it became passion, I don't know, and it just started to grow organically. And then here I am, still involved in doing a bit of coaching. So I just loved it. I didn't really. I thought a lot about these things. Like, I mean, you've been into coaching as well, and you must have experienced a lot about your coaching journey as well. That actually, we as coaches, the words we say actually carry a lot of weightage and power, which we don't really know, right? But ask those kids who you're working with. I mean, when they come back to you and said to you, "Oh, Taylor, 3 years ago you said something to me about my game, and you might not even remember.
Yeah.
But that kid you spoke to, will come and say, "Oh, did I say that to you?
Yeah.
How?" So that's something which I experienced quite a bit.
Yeah.
That
sort of planted a seed there.
Yeah. That words we share, the experience we share, or the words we say to these young and up and coming players.
Yeah.
You actually carried a little bit of weightage.
Yeah. No, I had a similar one, that last India trip we went on, where it wasn't even a cricket thing. It was just an interaction with someone at the airport. And just one of the players kind of mentioned that, I guess that what we'd sort of talked about had him thinking about some things, and I was like, I didn't even really realise. So it's definitely, it makes you think, a little bit differently, and it's cool that you get to be involved in that development of these young people.
Yeah, I mean, there's such a positive influence you as a coach can have on players.
Yeah.
That they will want to listen to you, they'll want to, follow your guidance, they will want to, because they want to get better, and if they can connect with you and have that connection, I mean, that's a big responsibility as well.
It is. No, you got to take it seriously.
You can't just go and say, I do this and do that and all that sort of stuff. It's a responsibility. That's what I look back and I said, it's not just a job. It's not just another job. It's a responsibility we have. Right? I mean, the reason we're doing is because, one, we love the sport and we have the passion for the sport and everything, but actually it's a responsibility. A young player come to you and seeking your guidance and help for a reason to get better. Well, he wants to get better. But he has put a faith in you as a coach, right? So he's expecting that you're going to help him. So that's a big responsibility. If someone comes to you and show that faith in you as a coach, he putting all the trust in you, it's not an easy job. Then it's not like you can just say, okay, right, that's fine, don't worry about it, it'll be fine. That's a responsibility. That's what I feel of it. It's a responsibility we share, I think we have, and we need to be true to that responsibility. If someone shows a faith in us, wants to come and work with us and whatnot.
Absolutely. So we've sort of talked a little bit about your background and sort of your start in coaching. One of the things I'm interested in, because you started off kind of more in the one-on-one space with coaching, and in the past sort of maybe 5 or 6 years, you've kind of moved in. You're still doing some one-on-one stuff, but you moved into the team space a bit more. How did you find that sort of move, and what, I guess, prompted you to kind of explore the team space a little bit more?
I mean, I've always wanted to do team sport.
Yeah.
Coaching is fun when you are with a lot of players together. It's a lot of fun, You can create a lot of fun environment and enjoyment and, that sort of a thing. I mean, the one-on-one when I started, it was just, I was playing cricket at the time. Yeah. I was playing every Saturday. I was not into coaching or anything. So it was just that impact I talked about, that impact having on players and seeing them getting better, seeing them going out and performing well for their teams. That was it all started from. To transition into more coaching is when I stopped playing cricket. I was like, shit, I need to get into full time now. That's when it all started, because at that time I was just playing myself, enjoying my own cricket. 5 years I played for North City at that time, and then once, and it all started at that time, 2015-16, when I had my first job at Silverstream, what you're doing right now as well. So it just popped up that job. The other coach finished his stint, and they were looking for a coach, and I was about to finish my cricket as well, and I was like, well, there's an opportunity. Let's get involved and do a coaching maybe full time and see how it goes. So that's when it all came, and I stopped playing cricket, and that's when I was starting to get a little bit more into coaching and explore more options, explore more coaching as well, and then started doing more team coaching from there on. So 2015 or 16, I think 16, yeah, when I completely stopped playing, because Saturday was my own game, so there was no time for me to go and do. But I was still doing some team coaching at that time. With North City, I was looking after Tower College during the week, because that was part of one club officer role I had for North City. And there was a year 8 team and year 9 team, 8 team at North City.
Yeah,
there was Tower those days. Tower year 8. Amelia was the captain of my team.
Yeah, I remember there being hearing a few stories, because Robbie Kerr was still in Cricket Wellington at that stage.
That's right.
Yes. Yeah, there's a few cricketers that have gone on to good things from that group you had there.
Yeah, that's right. So I was still doing coaching. I mean, I was kind of a player coach for North City at that time. I was running trainings, and I was, that sort of stuff, but not really full time thinking about coaching at that time, because I wanted to play myself as well.
Yeah.
But do those things you need to do as a coach when you're a player coach. I mean, that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
But that transition happened when I stopped playing cricket completely, and then I gone more into coaching teams and stuff like that.
Yeah. You've had some pretty good success over the last couple of years, both with the under-19s and with your club, Hutt Districts. You won the under-19 competition 2 years ago and just missed out last year.
Yeah, that's right. Year. Last year we won. This year at the start, last year December, right? Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And then you've picked up a few. Have you won all 3 of the trophies in the last couple of years for Hutt Districts?
Yeah.
Definitely won PS Cup.
Yep. We won the PS Cup. We have won the T20. So we haven't won the one-day comp. We haven't won the one-day comp, but still achieved that one.
Another goal for you.
Another little goal for you.
What do you think some of the keys kind of for the successful team culture, or what do you think goes into making these teams successful? What do you focus on as a coach?
I think before you go into that one, I think as a coach you need to find out your own why.
Yeah.
And I think that I found out pretty early when I was coaching is, why am I coaching? Yeah. And that was, I just want to grow these people, and see how far they can go on their journey. So just all started from there, just to finding my own why I'm coaching. And then I come back to the culture side of things. I mean, that's just part of what you do as a coach. I mean, you have to create those environments and culture for people to be successful, especially in the team environment, right? If you are failing to create that environment, failing to create the culture, I mean, you're not going to have a happy team, to be honest. So to have a happy team, to have a team, it's success. I mean, I don't know how do you define success, but for me, if your players are getting better, if they're enjoying their Saturday, if they're turning up for training, they're working hard at their game, they're having good interactions with each other or with you as a coach, that's success for me. Yeah. Pretty much. I mean, don't think so trophies excites me too much. I'm not big into, as long as the players I'm working with, they're getting better, they're achieving high honors, they're playing at a higher level, they're growing as people, they're growing as players. If that's happening, I think that's what success for me is all about.
So it's the old sort of focusing on the process of getting them better, and the rest kind of takes care of itself.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm quite fortunate in that sense.
Yeah.
I think, because the players who are currently, if you look at whether you are talking the under 19 setup or my Hutt district, the team I've got there, all the players are really hardworking. They really want to achieve a lot with their cricket, so they're naturally working a lot harder on their game, finding ways to get better. I mean, it just that happened to be in my team, and then I've got good people in my team, and they are all hardworking players. So all the success, whatever they're achieving, is for them. It's not me. It's all about them and them as players and them as the team. So, I mean, I'm just there to flick some balls and hit some catches to them, and that's about it. So
yeah, no, I think you do a little bit more than that. But yeah, no, that's really good. With the cultural stuff, what have you found? Like, say if there have been maybe a team that's a little bit cliquey, or a couple of individuals that kind of don't see eye to eye. How do you think? What are some things you've done to kind of navigate through those periods? Like, if the culture's not going well, what are sort of some of the things you look at to turn it around?
I mean, I was not aware of when I started coaching about this culture and environment and whatnot. I was just straight up practice, do the right thing, go and play Saturday, enjoy your cricket. And this I'm still learning these things. I mean, I've just finished my. Funny enough, you asked me. I've just finished my level 3. And a lot of that covered in that level 3 as well. And I'm doing this high performance sports New Zealand core knowledge app thing. And in that we talked a lot about the growth culture, the learning environments and all that sort of stuff. So I'm still exploring a lot more of that. How can I create that environment and culture, and then going back to just conversations with the players. If they are not happy with each other, why they're not happy, what can cause that, and then having those conversations, open conversations with them, talking to them, sitting them over a beer or a coffee or whatnot, and just being open to them, and just listening to them more than actually telling them anything. Just listening where they're coming from, understanding where they're coming from, and what can causing that rift you're talking about. But it's more about that now. I mean, in team environment, what I've noticed is if there's an opportunities for players to get better, and their opportunities doesn't because of their performances, these sort of rift doesn't happen, because they can see that coaches have got a right, like they're thinking right about the players, and they got right interest at heart for them. And that's where I think if you believe in some players and you give them opportunities, and even if they fail and you back them, generally you build that trust, and then they're then starting to open a lot more to you as a coach, and then it all starts from there. But it's more about having those conversations with them, to be honest, at that time. So
it's interesting you say about the trust thing, because that's probably something that's kind of happening at the moment with the England side, with the way McCullum's kind of running it over there, that they're picking these guys that their stats potentially don't suggest that they should be in the side, but they see them as the person with potential to do the job they need, and so they've kind of picked them, they've backed them, they're giving them a really good opportunity and support around them, and they're starting to see some of those performances. I mean,
increase. If you're picking players just on the stats basis, then you don't need coaches. Statisticians can be your coaches, right? The people who do all the stats work on the computer. Every team have got one. They can pick the team. Why you need coaches there?
Yeah, because that was the same sort of model that him and Hessen, I think, used. I mean, I'm not privy to this, but just from reading his book and seeing how that you kind of that awareness that our structures, we were sort of talking about this earlier, don't always produce a cricketer from, say, first class cricket that's ready to go straight into international cricket, or from school cricket or club cricket that's ready to go straight into first class cricket. That you've actually got to say, well, I think this kid's got the right stuff, or this guy's got the right stuff. that we're going to give them an opportunity to kind of learn on the job, so to speak.
Coming back to the trust thing you said, it's not an easy thing, trust. I mean, you can't just say someone, "Oh, Taylor, you know me well, you need to trust me."
Yeah, you need to show it.
It doesn't work like this, does it? You can't just go and walk on the street and say to someone, "Hey, mate, can you trust me?"
Yeah.
Right? It just built over the time, but it built with your own behavior, your own attitude, your own things. You know, you're working with the players. It just takes a lot longer. It's not like you can just ask someone to trust you and tomorrow he'll start trusting you. And it's a relationship you build with your players, all right? And those conversations you have behind the scene with those players. And then you follow up with those conversations as well, not just having a conversation and actually be done with it and forget about it. You actually follow up with that conversation, and then that's how I believe you build trust. That player start trusting you and say, no, he actually wants me to get better.
Yeah, absolutely.
He actually, so that's where I think all that trust come from. So
no, I think that's really good. Another thing I was sort of interested to explore was more around the under-19 space. That you've been involved with that team for what, 5 or 6 years?
Yeah, about
sort of
60 years.
Was it initially as an assistant coach and then co-coach? Right. Now, head coach for the last few years. So you've worked with a lot of guys who have made that step up from, I guess, under-19 level to first class level. I'm assuming there would have been some that have made it through to international level as well now. What do you think are the things that, you know, sets those players apart? Like, are there ones that you knew before time that, this kid's probably going to play for New Zealand, or this kid's definitely going to play for Wellington? What was it that kind of made them stand out from the rest of the pack?
Good question. I think their ability to learn and their ability to interact with people. Right? I think that's something which you can see. Okay, this guy has got right learning attitude. He wants to get better. He wants to learn, and it's not about performances or anything like that. No? It's about the person, what sort of person he is, and how much he's keen to learn from others, not just from coaches, but from his teammates. What sort of conversations he had with his teammates or with coaches as well. I mean, there are a lot of examples like that. I mean, Mo is a very recent example. Abbas, right? Came into the Wellington under-19. I remember having my first conversation with him when he was in Lincoln, and you could straight away tell that this guy wants to get better.
Yeah. Well, you made that call, I think, before the tournament, didn't you? That this guy's ready to make the step up to the next level. And
I don't say made that call.
Well, not made the call, but you put it out there, and then by the end of the season, he's in the Wellington setup, scoring a few runs. So you can tell. Yeah, you can tell when you have those conversations with those players, and you can tell that he thinks different, or he thinks about his game very differently, sort of things. Yeah. So you can definitely understand that, okay, this guy can actually go places if he continue to develop himself, continue to keep working at his game. Yeah. When you say thinks differently, what I guess what does that mean? Because, like, is it the way he handles failure? Is it the way he goes about improving his game, or the questions he I don't think so. It was more about failure or success. Yeah. It's about, how can he get better? Yeah. And how can he contribute? When he came into the team, he was just about, okay, this pitch is gonna, do this and this, and he was very clear about his process on that particular, and he adapted better, on the surface better, he knew what needed of him. From his own game on that particular surface, because you're playing in Lincoln, you got 3 different grounds and 3 different surfaces. So he was getting a better understanding of what the surface is going to do and how he's going to adapt his game plan on that particular surface. So when you have those sort of conversations with someone, you can tell that he is thinking a little bit differently, a bit more matured for his age, sort of thing. No, because kids at 17, 18,
and it's not their fault or anything. There's just not much of, they don't have a lot of games in Wellington to actually have that sort of a thinking mind. They train indoors on a indoors nets here anyway. It's just pretty much cement, and you just throw balls and comes, and they all look $1 million. But because they don't have the experience of playing a lot of games, especially in Wellington with the weather and all that sort of stuff. I mean, they only play 2 months of cricket in a year, and in 2 months of cricket, which is your January and February, before that it's raining and all that sort of stuff. In 2 months of cricket, you're not going to develop a lot of thinking mind about the game, right? You're too busy, just making the most of those 2 months, right? So that is the difference, because there's not a lot of game opportunities players have here.
Yeah. Do you think that, because I completely agree with you on the ability to adapt, that like the number of times you sort of talk to a player and say, this wicket, left arm spinner's bowling, it's skidding through, you can't go back to a short ball, it's going to stay low. Oh, yeah. They get out there's a wicket goes down, first 3 balls they go back, and then if they get through that, then they start coming forward, and it's like, whereas there's other players where you tell them that, and from the first ball they're kind of forward and onto it. And it does make a difference, because those, 3 balls can be it can be where you go. But do you think, what are ways that you think you can train that ability to adapt? Is it more like mental and kind of thinking about how you're using your skills, or is it more putting them in situations where they have to problem solve at training? What do you think are ways you can...
I think just asking good questions to them.
Yep.
Asking good questions around what's in front of you. How do you think this is going to behave? Yep. And how are you going to adapt to that? And then having that conversation with him, and just listening to them after that. Yeah. Because they all know, but not everyone can talk. What they think and what they say, not everyone can do that. So just unwrapping that a little bit more, right? So just asking them good questions about the surface, about if you're challenging them in a training session and you put something in front of them, how they're going to adapt to that. Yeah. What do you think the ball's going to do? How the ball's going to behave on this surface? Yeah. And what's your plan if it happens this way, or if it happened that way? So it's just having those, again, conversations with them and talking to them about, letting them find out, as you said, how can we make them better problem solvers themselves? Why they have to rely on you and me? Yeah. Why can't they solve their own problems by themselves? Yeah. And that's the best place to be. I can tell you, if as a coach, if they all can figure that out and solve the problem.
Yeah.
Best place to coach from, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I think one of the other interesting things that happens there is, I'm sure you'd find the same thing, but where they'll come up with an answer that maybe you hadn't quite thought of, or do something different to how you visualize that actually works quite well, and it works for them, and kind of, I think that's one of the beautiful things about cricket, is obviously there's sort of like a few truths, a few things that most good players do, but there's also a lot of differences at times, and you can have, it's not like a sport where in basketball everyone's sort of 6'5" or whatever, that you can have a Sachin Tendulkar on one hand who was 5 foot something, and then a Kevin Peterson or something who's 6 foot plenty, and they're both very good and go about things slightly differently. And I think that's always one of the interesting things with cricket.
That's so fun of it.
It is, absolutely. That there's
that's where the challenge comes in as well for you as a coach.
Yep, absolutely.
Right. I mean, who doesn't? I mean, I'm not sure, but I definitely like when players come and challenge me. Just get me thinking a little bit differently as well. There's no fun in you saying and they're listening. I mean, that's not coaching. That's pretty much, what used to be in 90s, or maybe back those days, maybe. I'm not sure, because that's how I grew up playing. Is coaches used to just say, do it, and then we can't answer them back or ask them anything those days. But now it's different, right? Yeah. Coaching is very different now than it used to be in the 90s. So.
Yeah. I definitely think there's been some good stuff come from that, and you sort of see see the ways cricket's being played now. That definitely giving the players a little bit more freedom around that stuff's a positive thing.
Coaching. I mean, if a player can come and challenge you, right, and asking you why I have to do this way or why, that's not a bad thing actually. It just makes you.
I think it's a sign of that trust and good culture actually.
Step back and make you think. Okay, hang on.
Yeah.
I mean, my belief is I don't know everything. I don't have an answer for everything. But can I ask some good questions? If that can bring some good answers from the players and let them think about themselves or about their game by themselves. That's I think a good thing. That's what I think. That's a good thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Just wanted to touch on your experiences with the Hutt Hawkes as well. So you've been involved, sort of coaching the team on those trips to India for it would be close to 10 years now. Pretty close.
Yeah. Almost 10 years. This is the 11th year we've been going.
I guess what have you found in terms of like the benefits for your coaching? The benefits you've seen in the young players and that sort of thing. Have you? What's been the impact of those trips for you?
Honestly, I learned so much about myself as a coach, about myself as a person on those trips. It all started with the thought of, as we talked about earlier, that there's not enough games for the players here. They're training their butt off, right, in nets for 10 months a year. There are only 2 months of cricket for them to explore and go out and get better. Right. So what can we do? I mean, we are not. It's very hard to organize games with councils and everything here, control grounds and everything. But is there any way we can think of giving them more game time? That's the thought. Only started from that. I mean, Ravi very well, and then one day I remember having a chat with him. I said, Ravi, that was back in 2013, and Ravi used to go take teams around New Zealand to play. You must be part of when Rachin was growing up as well. And I said, have you thought about going to India and playing some cricket over there?
Yeah, because there would have been a few trips by that stage, but I think the regularity, it was sort of like a once a year kind of thing. Yeah,
because I remember my first trip when I went, because I know you guys been there once before. I think you must have gone before that 2013. So you must have gone 2000.
I think it might have been 2 or something, 2 or 3.
So I had 3 players from Wellington and rest were from Havera.
Yeah.
Right? And 3 players I remember was Nick Greenwood, Tim Campbell and Charlie Proteus, right? So 3 players, and then we saw that impact on their game, and they came back and they're a bit more confident and stuff. And it just grew from there, and then end up being 2 teams a year to 3 teams a year. So that's how it all began with Hutt Hawkes. I mean, coming back to your question around what I've learned, I think I've learned a lot. On my coaching has a lot to do with those trips. Seeing these guys adapting to foreign conditions in that environment, players, teams they never played against, pitches they never played on, the food, the culture, whole lot of things, which is quite new, not new to me. I'm born there, I lived all my life there, I'm just here on 50, but was quite new for these guys. And how to work with them in that environment, help them to understand that culture, help them to understand that environment, help them to understand the conditions, the pitches, that got me thinking a little bit more about, having those conversations with them, helping them understand. And that helped my coaching a lot. That gave me that confidence that actually I can do this for a long period of time, or coaching wise. I can take this as a career, as you would say. But now we did definitely have a lot more. I learned a lot on those trips as a coach myself, helping these guys out, whether you're taking them in the nets, on the grass pitch, to arranging the local bowlers for them to train on, or helping them during the game time, or a whole lot of other things as well, which comes with touring, anywhere, especially when you go to India as well, right?
Yeah.
It's lots going on when you go to India and USA.
Yeah. One of the interesting things I found was with the trips is obviously like, because it's a different group of players coming together each time, most of them are aware and know of each other, but them as a group have probably never played cricket together. And so I was fortunate enough to go take a team with you as well that sort of September, October last year, that one of the things that was at the forefront of my mind was how you actually gelled this group of kids together who hadn't played together, and it sort of forced you to kind of figure out how to do it pretty quickly. But fortunately, I think both teams that we had over there were really good. And
what did you do to?
So I thought kind of as a starting point, kind of getting the group together, I was aware of most of the players, and I kind of knew that either I'd sort of had some direct involvement, and I knew there were kind of no kind of idiots, so to speak, anyone that was kind of going to make it really turbulent. But it was just, setting sort of clear expectations. I think making sure they knew what they were kind of getting into before going, so it wasn't a surprise once they got there. Things like, and that was from what the experience is actually going to be like, trying to front load that a little bit, but also what the playing roles are, and just trying to remove kind of any friction points, how we were going to go about sort of some of the decision making and stuff over there. But I was fortunate, like you said, they're a great bunch of lads, and they're all keen to go there for the same reason, play some good cricket.
That's the thing. So if you're talking about bringing all these players together who have never played cricket together from different schools and different clubs and whatnot, one thing which helped me to bring them together is the purpose. And I always talk about the purpose of why we're going there. Right. Once the purpose is clear, it's very easy to bring them together, to play cricket together as a team. That's just a simple thing, which I believe it worked really well, and it's still been working. But our purpose is very clear. Our purpose to go over there is to learn to get better and to play cricket in an environment you've never found yourself in. And then that purpose, you have set it up really well last year as well when you had that team with you.
No, I appreciate that, mate. I think that's
it was a fun trip. That was.
It was really good. I know. All the
we got a bit late, or flight and whatnot happened. Yeah,
there were some challenges, but that's wouldn't be a good trip. If you didn't have some adversity.
Absolutely.
No. Well, I think that's a great place to end it. Thanks again for coming on and giving your time. And I've really enjoyed chatting cricket with you.
Mate, absolute pleasure. I mean, knowing you, Taylor, and seeing you, I mean, because I've literally seen your journey so far, and you coaching you to you becoming a dad and all that sort of a stuff, right? So share some good time together, and hopefully we're going to share a lot more good times.
India trips together.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, man. Thanks for having me. Really appreciate that.
No, cheers, Neeraj.
Thank you. Thanks, man.